Alright, so I get some pretty ridiculous comments on my videos. I used to try and have discussions with these people, which in 99.9% of cases would go absolutely nowhere. It'd be a big waste of time and energy because they actually didn't want to learn anything or see a different perspective. But in most cases, they would start out with a really hostile statements that show they aren't open to anything or they're just so outrageous that the only logical explanation is that they're just a troll. And in those cases, I'll just delete it. Well, I think from now on, I'll just make a video like this one breaking down these comments step by step to help the voiceover community and my viewers know what to look out for. I feel like by far one of the most important things I can do on my channel is bring these types of people and comments to light so that there's less people that will fall for this type of inaccurate information. So with that said, let's get into it. Welcome to the first video in a series I'm calling Misinformation Monday. So, welcome to Misinformation Monday number 1. I recently posted a video on my channel titled How to Get Into Voiceover and ended up getting one of the most ridiculous comments I've ever gotten. I've since deleted the comment but made sure to take a screenshot so that we could all see this epic fail together here on my channel. So here's to you in the wake books and stories. Let's break this down. To start things off, they say,
paying thousands of dollars for a professional demo when you can't reproduce that quality in your home studio can do more harm than good.
Well, if you didn't already know, this person has no experience in the voiceover world, now you do. While this statement is technically correct, anyone getting into the industry will soon be taught that your home studio is a very, very big deal if you want to be competitive in the voiceover community and if you want to have a career as a voice actor, which is why I'm constantly beating the dead horse that is how incredibly important your home studio is. That's literally what I do. Professionally set up and treat home studios so that you can sound like you're recording in a professional studio. I've talked about this about 1 billion times on my channel, which shows you that this person who commented on my video didn't actually watch any of my other videos and probably didn't actually watch the entire video that they commented on here. Long story short, if you've been in the industry for even a very, very short time, you already know how important your home studio is and that it absolutely needs to sound like a pro studio. So what I'm really trying to say here is, in the wake books and stories, thank you so much for the tip. I'll make sure the rest of the voiceover community gets the message. You're a real hero. Now, on to the next nuggets of wisdom from this wizard of voiceover.
You absolutely can and should make your own demo if you're starting out. DIY demos are usually how agents find you in the first place. Then, they will have you do a professional demo.
All right, well, let's take this back to the basics. They say you absolutely can and should make your own demo if you're starting out. But let's think about that for a second. When you're just starting out, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. That's the entire point of just starting out. Just starting out means that you're just now learning and being exposed to whatever it is that you're starting out in. In other words, to be blunt, you suck. When I first started voice acting, I sucked. The first few videos I ever made on YouTube sucked. A lot of people probably say they still suck. The first songs I ever wrote sucked. The worst thing you can do when you're just starting out is make a demo. You'd literally just be making a demo to show people how much you suck. Whether it's making it with a professional or doing it yourself, you'll improve so much in the first few months that it's only gonna hurt you to do this in the beginning. You'll make an awful demo that will give you a horrible first impression to everyone who hears it, and then 3 to 6 months later, your skills will drastically improve and you'll make another demo. Well, first impressions stick. So now, those people who heard your first demo will likely not even give your second one a listen. Like I always say, you don't just pick up a football and join the NFL the next day. People like this person who left this comment, are slapping all of these voice actors in the face because they think it doesn't take time, dedication, training, or talent. They think,
oh, when you're just starting out, just throw together a demo and you'll get signed by an agent. That's how agents find you in the first place.
Another great example of someone having no experience in the voiceover industry. If you want an agent to never take you onto their roster, do exactly what this person is saying to do. And then they go on to say,
get good at making your own demos through practice. Get directed and support from your voiceover coach.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Any credible voiceover coach that's not scamming you would immediately shut this down. So Everyone watching right now, please do exactly what In the Wake Books and Stories is saying to do here and get direction and support from your voiceover coach, because they will make sure you never do this and will save you your career. Then they go on to say,
and you'll get more work than if you got an amazing pro demo that makes you sound much better than you actually do. Once you're in a position to afford it and can reproduce that quality, then absolutely you should upgrade to a pro demo, but not starting out.
And this is also where your voiceover coach comes in. They won't sign off on you doing a demo until you have the training to consistently deliver that type of quality in your reads. Now, of course, that's assuming they're not scamming you, because I used to know a studio very well that had 2 instructors, one that literally had someone come in and do a $2,000 demo who had never even trained in their life, and another who trained someone for 2 weeks and had them do a demo. Those are both scams. They just wanted that demo money. But back to the comment. That's literally the entire point. Get a demo that shows you in the best light possible that you can reproduce in a moment's notice. The notion that a demo will make you sound better than you actually do means that you need more training and you were never really ready for a demo in the first place. And that's your coach's job to let you know. Which, oddly enough, is basically what they go on to say in the next line, which is hilarious because everything else before that would make sure that you gave the worst first impression to everyone around, so that when you finally get a pro demo done, you've made sure no one will even give it a listen. Awesome! Then they continue to contradict themselves with this.
For heaven's sake, you might not even like voice acting. Take it easy on the big expenses starting out. Invest in a few months of voice coaching before you get a pro demo.
So wait. Let's rewind a bit and go back to the first thing they said.
You absolutely can and should make your own demo if you're starting out. DIY demos are usually how agents find you in the first place. Then they will have you do a professional demo.
But then goes on to say,
for heaven's sake, you might not even like voice acting. Take it easy on the big expenses starting out. Invest in a few months of coaching before you get a pro demo.
So, in other words, they're saying that when you're just starting out and have no idea if you even want to do voiceover and have no idea what you're doing and will shoot yourself in the foot with a bad first impression, that's when you should try and get an agent. Then, once that miracle happens, thanks to your super competitive DIY demo, you should then get a lot of training to find out if you even like voiceover and want to do it. And then get a professional demo made. Hey, that's how I did it. Moving on.
And I would stay away from Audacity for voiceover work. It really does not have the polish that you need from a DAW to make your voice sound its best.
Honestly, this might be the dumbest thing they've said so far, but it's actually really hard to tell because they've said a lot of really stupid stuff. This is the type of stuff that you always hear from a hobbyist. What's worse is they're probably not even at that level, but you'll never hear a professional audio engineer who does this day in and day out say something like this. And it's a little something called experience. First off, there is no one DAW out there that sounds better than another DAW. It's all just ones and zeros. The things that affect the quality of your audio is microphones, interfaces, microphone technique, how you treat the recording space that you're recording in. The DAW you use to record your audio doesn't affect the quality of your audio whatsoever. The only difference between DAWs is what they were made for. Now, I already broke this down in the video, so I'm not really going to go into it here, but now let's tackle the last thing that they said in this incredibly ignorant statement.
Having my effects change set up for me automatically every time I start a new project, plus all the other automation features available in Reaper, makes it work great for VO. And it's super cheap.
Okay. First off, Audacity is free, and it doesn't get any cheaper than free that I'm aware of. But you can set up automation in practically every DAW out there. That's just become a standard thing now. Look, no offense to all you Reaper people out there, but this is almost always what you get from a Reaper person. Statements about how amazing it is without having any knowledge whatsoever with any other DAWs out there. This person is most likely just like someone I met a couple of years ago that was going on and on about how amazing Reaper is and how it can do so many things other DAWs can't. My response was, oh, really? What are some of those things that it can do? Once they were done answering, I simply said, you do realize Adobe Audition can do all of that, right? And Audacity can do most of that as well. Come to find out, this person who was just oozing about Reaper had never used another DAW in their entire life. And the icing on the cake, they're an instructor at a studio. Call me crazy, but if you're going to be teaching people and taking their money, I feel like you should be pretty well-rounded and have experience in multiple things before telling people they should use what you use. I have an on-demand course that teaches Reaper. I also have a live and on-demand class that teaches Adobe Audition, Audacity, Twisted Wave. I work in Cubase all the time and occasionally Pro Tools, and I'll be making courses on all of these in the future. So yeah, I know how they work and I know what they can do. Not saying Reaper isn't great. It can do a lot of amazing things, but honestly, all the amazing things it can do can be done in most other DAWs out there. And the things that can't be done in other DAWs aren't really needed for voice actors. Now, I know I'm gonna get some die-hard Reaper fans in the comments losing their minds. But listen, as voice actors, we really don't need much. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Now, if you want to overcomplicate things and go learn a DAW that will likely overwhelm you and make you give up before you even begin recording your first line of dialogue, by all means, have at it. But most people starting out just want a DAW that's reliable, easy to learn, not overcomplex, and that's just gonna simply record them as they exist, which is what casting agents and engineers want anyway, and that leads me to something else they said.
It really does not have the polish that you need from a DAW to make your voice sound its best.
Now, we already know that no one DAW out there sounds better than another, so the only other possibility here is the whole process of processing your audio with effects to make it sound polished, as they put it. Anyone who's actually been pursuing voiceover for just a short amount of time knows that they actually never want you to put any effects or processing on your audio. Now, some of you just immediately got all huffy and puffy about this because maybe you always put processing on your audio, and maybe what you do to your audio is actually perfectly fine, because in my classes, I walk you through all of the effects that are used in voiceover for a few reasons. One, I think it makes you better, understanding what all of these effects do to your audio, but most importantly, you know what not to do. I teach very light, responsible processing that's not going to ruin your audio and get you in trouble. But here's why I say this. You can't unbake a cake, as in whatever processing you put on your audio can't be undone by the engineer that you're sending your final audio off to, which completely ties their hands, not allowing them to do the job that they've been hired to do by the client. Super light processing is fine as long as you know what you're doing, and this is where I'm going to probably get some rage comments on this video. But just know that one of those rage comments might make it into my Misinformation Part 2 video, so yeah. The thing is, the majority of voice actors don't know what they're doing when it comes to audio processing, and in a lot of cases, they end up going overboard, which actually ends up mutilating the audio, and like I just said, it completely ties the hands of the engineer that you're sending your audio off to. Now, of course, some voice actors out there know a lot about audio and effects processing, like James Arnold Taylor, for example. But long story short, if your processing isn't super light and you don't know what you're doing, don't process your audio at all. And honestly, if you booked the job and that's what you're recording, you're not just recording an audition, that's when they really don't want you doing anything to the audio whatsoever. Any professional will tell you that. Are there small exceptions? Sure, but that's not what we're talking about here. At the end of the day, they want to hear you, how you actually sound, not a pretend, polished, dolled up version of how you sound, which is deceiving and yet another thing that this person totally contradicted themselves by saying. For example, they started off by saying paying thousands of dollars for a professional demo when you can't reproduce that quality in your home studio can do more harm than good, and then go on to say, Audacity really does not have the polish that you need from a DAW to make your voice sound its best. So don't actually make yourself sound better than you actually are, but make sure that you polish your audio so that you sound nothing like yourself. Huh, that's an interesting one. Some comments are so riddled with contradictions that I really do wonder if it's just someone trolling. Seriously, who knows? But this person really just doesn't seem to know the first thing about this industry and how it actually works. Anyway, if you'd like to be featured in my next video, make sure to leave a ridiculous comment below where I'll go through it bit by bit, showing the viewers what to look out for in this industry. But really, the point of this video is to help anyone I can continue doing the right things in the industry that will help you stand out in a good way. And I'm just gonna keep making these response videos every single time I get an insane comment like this one. I think they're actually helping the industry a lot without even meaning to, which is awesome. So until next time, just remember, you know what they say.